Good morning, dear viewers. My name is Aarti Sehgal. I'm working as an assistant professor in Rukmani Devi Institute of Advanced Studies, Rohini, Delhi, from last 8 years. The topic which I am going to discuss today is diversity at workplace. So before moving with the topic, first of all, it is very important to understand that why diversity. As diversity is using as the most buzzword nowadays, and I would say the most researched domain in the area of human resource management and organizational behavior. And after post-pandemic situation, it becomes more important to understand why the inclusion of diversified people is even more important. There are many factors who tells us the importance of diversity at workplace. Like in this ever-changing world in which the competition for talent never abates, right? And if we talk about the diversity and inclusion at workplace, it becomes the important element for the organizations with respect to the strategies, plans, and the modifications according to the diverse workforce, right? If we talk about the cultural revolution, the change in demographics, which directly influences the current workplaces and forces the business organizations to make the inclusive workplace in order to make these strategies succeed, right? We are talking diversity, but it is important to understand that what is diversity and what is inclusion. Okay, so let me take you through with the PPT. I'm showing you, going to show the PPT, and we'll discuss about diversity and inclusion, in which we'll firstly discuss the meaning. So the topic which I'm going to discuss is embracing diversity at workplace with special reference to the a case of differently abled persons. If we talk about the meaning of embracing in Hindi, embracing का मतलब हिंदी में होता है सम्मिलित करना. So diversity in itself, it's a cloud term wherein we are going to talk how can we embrace or सम्मिलित different diversified people at workplace, right? So this would be the flow of my presentation, wherein I am going to talk about the meaning of diversity, different acts in India, the study conducted by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, role of various statutory bodies, technologies that may help differently abled persons, and some of the examples from industry, right? So firstly, we'll start with understanding what is diversity. Diversity in simple terms means different. It is a heterogeneous group of people, right? Heterogeneous in terms simply says that different, right? Different matlab kuch alag. There are two words, heterogeneous and homogeneous. Hetero means different and homo means same. Whenever at workplace we are having different peoples that consider to be as the diversified workforce. As the question arises that every person is different, then why diversity? As diversity has some different dimensions to it, which helps us to recognize the individual differences, right? Maybe, and out of those dimensions, some of them are races. It shows the physical appearance of an individual. The next is gender. Gender talks about the male, female, or the transgender. The physical abilities talks that the person is with differently able person or the without disability person. The next is the age diversity, maybe a younger, maybe a older. Religious beliefs, different customs, just different rituals of different cultures. and the socio-economic status of an individual, which talks about the family buying capacity with respect to the economic resources they are going to or they are having. As before moving ahead, I would like to share some of the important information about the acts related to persons with disabilities in India, right? There was a first act in India which was incorporated or launched in 1995, the Persons with Disabilities Act, which was the Equal Opportunities Protection of Rights with Full Participation Act 1995. The act talks about disability means the acts included 7 types of disabilities under their umbrella, right? So the disabilities were blindness, low vision, leprosy curd, hearing impairment, locomotor disability, mental retardation, and mental illness, right? And the main objectives of the acts were to spell out the responsibility of the state towards the prevention of disabilities, protection of rights. If we jot down or highlight the point, the protection of rights, the provision of the medical care people, their education, their training, their employment status including integration, including their organizational entry, integration, their growth, all the 3 stages, and their rehabilitation, their taking care of. The second objective was to create a barrier-free environment. The third objective was to counteract any situation of abuse and exploitation of persons. The fourth was to make special provisions of the integration of persons with disabilities into social mainstream. These were the objectives of the Act, which was launched in 1995, catering to persons with disabilities. But now the situation has changed. Amendments in the Act 1995 were made, and now the Act may be called the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016, right? The Act has categorized persons with disabilities into 3 categories: person with disability, person with benchmark disability, and the person with disability having high support needs. We'll discuss it in the further slides. First, we'll discuss what is person with disability according to the Act 2016. So, person with disability means a person with long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment, which in interaction with barriers hinders his full and effective participation and in socially equally with others. That was the definition mentioned in the Act 2016 for the persons with disabilities. And if we talk about what is person with benchmark disability, so person with benchmark disability means a person with not less than 40% of the specified disability. That means person को 40% तक disability होनी चाहिए, तभी वो person with benchmark disability की category के अंदर माना जाएगा, right? आप जानते होंगे कि disability का एक certificate issue होता है. बेंचमार्क डिसेबिलिटी में ये उन्हीं को दिया जाएगा जिनकी 40% डिसेबिलिटी की रेंज होगी, राइट? If we compare the 1995 PWD Act and 2016 PWD Act, so the tremendous changes, the good features can be seen. In the 1995 Act, only 7 types of disabilities were covered. But the government has now increased from 7 disabilities to 21 disabilities, which are blindness, low vision, leprosy curd persons, hearing impairment, locomotor disability, dwarfism, intellectual disability, mental illness, autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, chronic neurological conditions, specific learning disabilities, multiple sclerosis, speech and language disability, thalassemia, hemophilia, sickle cell disease, multiple disabilities including deaf blindness, acid attack victim, And the last one is Parkinson's disease. So now you can easily see the kind of a change is being made in the new act. So if we'll talk about the definition of disability from other statutory body point of view, from which are the World Health Organization, that is WHO. WHO says that disability is an umbrella term covering impairments, activity limitations, and participation restrictions. Impairment is a problem in body function or structure, and activity, let me highlight some of the important points. It is an activity. Limitation is a difficulty encountered by an individual in executing the task or actions while participating in the restriction is a problem experienced by an individual in involvement in life situations. That was inclusion, which I had talked earlier. Thus, disability is a complex phenomenon reflecting an interaction between features of a person's body and features of the society in which he or she lives. That is the whole definition about the persons with disabilities given by World Health Organization, wherein we can easily sensitize our thoughts towards the definition or the meaning or the coverage of the disability or the differently abled persons in the social context, right? Earlier the term persons with disabilities used, but now the term has been changed to differently abled people or the people having special abilities. Next, I'll take you through the study conducted by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, which was conducted in March 2021. Persons with disabilities, Divyangjan in India, a statistical profile 2021. It was a study which was based on the findings of recent National Sample Survey of Persons with Disabilities and Census of India 2011, in which we can easily see that total number of persons is 121.08 crore, wherein males are 62.32 crore. The females are 58.76 crore. But if we talk about persons with differently abled, total population is 2.68 crore, wherein the males are 1.50 crore and the females are 1.18 crore. And if we go into further bifurcations, the census 2011 revealed that in India, 20% of the disabled persons are having disability in movement, 19% are with disability in seeing, 19% are with disability in hearing, and 8% has multiple disabilities. As you can see the diagram which is showing under this PPT, right? Now further we'll talk about the role of further statutory bodies. There is a 2030 agenda for sustainable development by the United Nations. As we all know that India is the member of the United Nations, and India is abiding the rules or 17 the sustainable goals made by the SDGs or United Nations, which provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and into the future, wherein Goal 8 of the SDG aims to promote full and productive employment and decent work for all men and women, including persons with disabilities, followed by the Goal 10, which focuses on reducing inequality within and amongst nations, continues to be a significant concern despite efforts and progress towards narrowing the differences. Next, we have, according to the WHO Global Disability Action Plan 2014 and 21, Better Health for All People with Disability 2015, right? In which the second objective focuses on to strengthen and extend rehabilitation, habilitation, assistive technology, assisted and support services, and community-based rehabilitation for differently abled persons. Further, there are many of the examples from industry, those who are taking care of the diverse workforce. Some of the examples like Google, Apple, Microsoft, Wipro. If we'll talk about the Google has come up with the project Google Glass, which is a gadget personalized by using different options and internet, which has a head-mounted computer that fits on the human's face like a pair of glasses, wherein Google Glass can be accessed via different technologies like Android system, Wi-Fi connection, Bluetooth, iTap technology, wearable computers, etc. In the pipeline, we have Wipro, which is known for the employee-oriented organization, as they always concerned about supporting the diverse workforce with and without disabilities by providing adjustable environment with the desired environment. Next, we have Apple with accessibility features in the devices like Siri. If you talk about the Google Assistants, or in the pipeline, we are also having Microsoft and IBM, which renowned AT and AI, artificial intelligence and assistive technology tools. These are some of the technologies that may help differently abled persons in acquainting with the workplace easily. Some of them are Smart Walker. Smart Walker is the latest technology for walk preparation, designed and produced by Advanced Orthotic Designs in Canada. It helps a persons with disabilities or with cerebral palsy or similar physical disability to stand up freely. These are some of the advanced technology options, Smart Walker. Next, we have Windows Eyes. Windows Eye is the screen reader accessible in Windows 2000, Windows XP, Windows 2003, Windows Vista, and all Windows 7 version available in the market today. Next, we have Zoom Text Magnifier Reader, which is the fully optimized reader specially designed for the users of low vision. Next, we have the assistive listening systems. It enhances the hearing capability of persons with listening disability. eSpeak, the software is related to several languages under which voice is audible and based on recordings of human speech. Next, we have low vision lamps. It enhances light with the people, for the people with low vision. The other, we have many softwares like screen readers, screen magnifiers, braille display, keyboard accelerators, stick keys, mouse keys, repeat keys, shortcut keys, and to name a few. Now, dear viewers, I would like to take you through various links which may help you out in getting more information about differently abled persons. As I have already opened the links because they might take some time. So the first link is the link of the Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disabilities, Divyangjan, which is run by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, wherein there are many sections wherein you can go and take the help from the information which is already there on the website of Government of India. Like if we'll talk about the schemes, there are many schemes which organization or which government is providing to the public sector employees, right? If I click on the first option, incentive scheme, government provides incentive to the private employers for hiring, for recruiting persons with persons with abilities, different abilities, or I would say special abilities, wherein a PDF document will be open. In this document, there are many of the important information is already being published and approved by Government of India with effect from the April 2016, wherein they talked about the gratuity amount, they talked about the coverage of the persons, they talked about the existing limit on wages, they talked about the employment of PWDs in private sector, which is not mandatory because there is no reservation quota in private sector, though it was 3% in public sector organization, but now it has been increased to 4%. but in public sector. But if we'll talk about the private sector, so government has beautifully beautifully offered the revised incentive scheme for providing employment to PWDs in the private sector, right? Wherein they talk about the contribution of the gratuity amount, which is admissible to the PWD employees for 10 years. Or the document you can read in detail. Next, we have, dear viewers, I hope you all must have heard about the monster.com. In the monster.com, there was an article which shows the list of top 50 companies across banking, consulting, financial services, healthcare, and IT sector who employs persons with disabilities. These are some of the organizations, to name a few: AT&T, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, EY, HSBC, KPMG, Mayo Clinic, PSEG, SEI, US banks. These are some of the top 50 companies who employs persons with disabilities in every specialized field, right? Next link, we'll be having the skill development of PWDs. If you click on the link, then you will see the option wherein the government has mentioned the National Action Plan for Skill Development of Persons with Disabilities under scheme for implementation of the Act SIPDA, that is Skill Development for Persons with Disabilities, wherein they also talked about the training partners, the standard operating procedures, training center validations, guidelines for validation of training centers, and national action plan, wherein they also talked about the workshops held, previous workshops held, and many more. The next link, you can see the study, the results of the study which I have discussed in my discussion. A study, Persons with Disabilities, Divyangjan in India, a statistical profile 2021. I would say, dear viewers, it is a must document to read, wherein you will be having an idea about the measuring disability in India, dimensions of disability in India, towards the welfare of disabled persons in India, strengthening disability statistics, recent global initiatives. Next, we have the WHO Action Plan, which I have already discussed. I have given the link. If you click on this document, a PDF file will be opened for your reference. It is asking for the permission, so I'm clicking on open. Let's see how much time it will take to get opened. See the document. This document, it's of 32 pages. So you can download the document and read the study. Next article we have, it is one of the article published by People Matters on 3rd December 2022, wherein many of the topmost companies' personnel discussed their work style with respect to the diverse workforce. For an example, if we'll talk about Jaya Vivani, Diversity and Inclusiveness and Ethics Leader, EY, Ernst & Young, Global Delivery Services, shares her personal experience during her interaction with one of her team members who is visually impaired and currently staying with his parents, wherein they talked about that EY Global Delivery Services has introduced Purple Champions, a buddy program to provide support to the differently abled employees in these tough times. The initiative provides a supportive community to enhance collaboration, listening, and action on the needs of differently abled people and promote inclusiveness. Right? If we'll go further, then we can see that Ira Gupta, head of human resources India at Microsoft, shares accessibility has never been more important than it is today, specifically in this COVID time. We know that the pandemic has disproportionately impacted people with disabilities. According to the World Health Organization, only 1 in 10 people with disabilities having access to assistive technology that they need to be successful, right? So in our 2020 report, McKinsey Dell's Packer review, we compiled, they discussed that expert advice, while 91% of participating organizations have a process to ensure employees with disabilities and long-term conditions have the adjustments they need at work with respect to assistive technology, ergonomics equipment, and flexed working times. Ergonomics means the working adjustment with respect to your workstation, right? There are some of the more discussions. If we'll take the example of Accenture, Lakshmi C, Managing Director and Lead Human Resources Accenture in India, shares, for us, technology has been a significant enabler. We have a disability adjustment request platform that acts as a one-stop shop for all reasonable accommodation requirements of our people, with including assistive technologies and ergonomic adjustments, while offering a very personalized experience to our workforce. If we'll talk about the another person who belongs to the Enable India, it is one of the topmost NGO. Vinaya Chinnappa, Program Manager, Livelihoods, Enable India, shares applied materials in association with Enable India ensured that hiring differently able talent is not impacted by the virtual environment, wherein Enable India created resources to ensure an end-to-end support for organizations in an online world, including sensitization of staff, sourcing, onboarding, and retention at workplace. There are many of the examples, like from Flipkart, Emphasis, Popjoy PT Limited, Walmart. There are many of the organizations have started taking concerted efforts towards taking care of the diverse workforce. Next link we have, this link we have already discussed. One of the last and the important link. I think if I feel that, dear viewers, you maybe one of you is a job seeker in this field. So for you, I'm giving you the link www.disabilityjobs.gov.in. It acts like a naukri.com, wherein by filling up the details, you can post your resume, and after posting the resume, you will get the notifications with respect to the jobs which are coming in the line or which are going to come in the future course. So I would request, or it's a suggestion for you to please enroll on this site and take the maximum benefit out of this website. So that was all about from my end. Let me stop the presentation. So to enable everyone at workplace to become more productive with respect to diverse workforce, we need to be inclusive, accessible, and committed towards persons with special abilities. That's all from my side. Thank you. Jai Hind.